Hey friends, this is Doona here again. Thanks for joining in for our yoga class. Okay, so a lot of you might be sitting down a lot throughout the day, and you might have your coffee in the morning, but towards the mid-afternoon or towards the late afternoon, you start to kind of get tired and low of energy. So this class is specifically designed to help you bring that energy back up. Just get your body moving again rather than just sitting and lying down all day. Okay, so we're going to continue to move our bodies, flowing with the breath as well. And really important, staying connected with the breath. Okay, so we're going to get started in a seated position just like this. Just like any class, grab your 2 blocks and a strap just in case you need it. All right, so any comfortable position. You could either stack a block or two underneath your sit bones, either cross-legged. Now, if this is too much for the hips, even with the blocks, you could always sit on the heels, but just be very mindful of your knees. All right, so go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Okay, right away, when you sit up nice and tall, you should already feel your body slightly energized. Okay, because a lot of times we always tend to get lazy, we close off, we hold a lot of tension. Okay, so right away, as you sit up nice and tall, lifting the chest up towards the ceiling, melting the shoulders down, lifting up through the side waist, you should already feel pretty awake and present. Okay, so you're going to close your eyes once you find that comfortable, nice seated position with your beautiful posture. And take a deep inhale through your nose and a deep exhale, sigh it out. Taking a few more rounds of breath just like that, really deepening your breath. Because a lot of times when we're not practicing our yoga, we tend to come back to that short and shallow breathing, which kind of leads us to going back to that sluggish, that roundedness in our posture, that laziness. So we want to kind of avoid doing that right now, okay, to help us energize for the remaining of the day. One more breath here. Breathe in and let it go. Good. On your next inhale, gently blink your eyes open. Reach your arms over your head. Interlace your fingers above your head. Then flip your palms to face up. And let's take a nice side body stretch to the right. Just don't let your left sit bone lift up, so keep rooting it down. And find a slight rotation. Peel your left shoulder back. Inhale back to center. Keep your palms flipped up. And exhale, lean over to the left. Keep opening up through the chest. Tuck your tailbone. Last inhale, reach up. And exhale, come back to center. You're going to keep your hands interlaced. Place it behind the back of your head, down towards the neck area. And take a nice chest expansion by opening up through the chest. Draw your elbows out and lean your head back against your hands. Keep lifting up through your lower back, broaden through the chest as you lengthen through your abdominals. As you exhale, round your back. Draw the elbows in. Hollow out your belly. Tuck your chin towards the chest. Holding here for an extra breath. Get that nice cervical spine opened up. Good. Breath to movement. Inhale, open the chest. Lift your shoulder blades up into your heart as you reach your chest up towards the ceiling. Exhale, round. Just like your cat pose, dome the upper back, hollow out the core. Last one, inhale. Open up the elbows. Gaze up. Exhale, round. Good. Getting that nice release through the shoulders and the neck. Through the upper back here. Good. You're going to come back to center. Release your hands. And let's take a seated twist to the right. Left hand on top of right thigh. Right hand behind the lower back. Twist from your right shoulder, then from your right ribs, and from your lower belly. Keep your tailbone lengthened down so there's no arching in the lower back. Switch sides. Good. So if you only have about a few minutes and you're still at work, you're at a desk, just do this sequence just once, and you should already feel your body start to waken up. You don't have to go on the floor or go on your mat. You can simply do it at your desk. All right, moving on, coming to tabletop position. Let's go and stretch out the wrists as you point your right fingertips back towards the knees. Round your back and just start to rock forward and back here. I like to make some circles. If you can, feel free to point all 10 toes back, or rather fingertips. Stretching out through the forearms and the wrist. Again, if you're at a desk all day typing away on the computer or even your phone, this should feel really good. Go ahead and do your left side if you haven't done that already. Good. And then flip your palm, one palm at a time, or again, two palms facing up, fingers still points back towards the knees. Round your upper back so you don't dump into the wrist, and just start to rock forward and back here. Good. Getting more into that front of the forearms and the front of the wrist. Good. All right. Come back to tabletop position. Keep your hips over knees as you walk your hands forward for puppy pose. This should feel really nice if you've been sitting all day long. When you're sitting, again, lots of hunching and rounding, getting into that flexion position. Now we're doing the opposite here, finding extension and through the thoracic spine. Opening up through the shoulders, breathe in. And let it go. Good. Inhale, slowly rise. Come back to tabletop. And let's push your hips up to downward facing dog. Hips go high. Okay. Make sure your feet are about hip width, distance apart. Gaze at your feet and peel your heels slightly out. Roll the inner thighs back. Draw the navel in. Draw your front ribs in as you push your chest back towards your thighs. Keep your feet where it's at. Then walk your hands back towards your feet and dangle over your legs for your first forward folds. Feel free to either grab opposite elbows as you let your head dangle between your arms. Feel free to interlace your fingers behind your back. Get that nice shoulder stretch. Good. Last breath here. Last breath. Good. Release the arms as squat low for your frog pose. Heels in, toes out. Bring your feet about outer hip width, distance apart. Sit all the way down. Feel free to grab your blocks to sit on. Hands either stays on the floor or hands to heart. Sitting up nice and tall so there's no rounding in the upper back. Let the shoulders soften. Let your collarbones widen. Inhale. And exhale. Press your knees out a little bit deeper. Good. If you can, we're going to come standing all the way up. Okay, in one breath, inhale, rise, and bring your feet hip width. Point your toes forward and bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, mountain pose. Keep your legs, core, arms engaged. Exhale, baby back bend. Open your elbows. Lift your chest up. Tuck your tailbone. Inhale, mountain pose. Arms over your head. Exhale, forward folds. Bend your knees as you hinge from your hips. keeping your lower back, upper back flat until you release your hands down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on top of your shins, maybe your thighs. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your palms, walk your hands forward into high plank, top of a push-up. Keep your wrist underneath the shoulders, heels about hip width. Notice if you're hyperextending, straightening the elbows, put a micro bend, then push your hands into the floor. Notice if you're dumping all your weight into your wrist. You gotta lift the chest away from the thumbs. Lift the hips, but keep the tailbone tucked. Last inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do high plank to down dog 2 more times. Get the core warmed up. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, shift forward into high plank. Broaden through your chest as you widen through your shoulder blades. Lengthen your tailbone towards the backs of the heels. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay strong. Always feel free to drop to your knees for your high plank position. Last one. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, high plank. Good. Focus more on cat pose in the upper back. But keep widening through the chest and see if you could draw your sternum forward. Roll the inner thighs up. Firm up through the quads. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Lead with your inner thigh. Keep your right foot flexed. Exhale, bend to your right knee. Open your hip. Make big circles with your right knee. Drop your right shoulder down. Switch directions. Good. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. When you step your feet between your hands, keep pushing the floor away as you round the back. Lift the belly, and then step your feet between your thumbs. Drop your left knee. Inhale, crescent moon. Lift your torso. Reach your arms over your head. Interlace your fingers on top of your right thigh. Push your hands into your thigh to lift your frontal hip bone. Then drag the skin of your right thigh forward as you sink a little bit deeper. Good. Keep your right hand on top of the thigh. Inhale, stretch your left arm up and over. And exhale, mini back bend. Shine your chest, but keep lifting up through your lower back. Last breath here. And exhale, plant your palms. Half splits position. Straighten out your right knee. Walk your hands back so your hand stays underneath the shoulders. You might have to lift the hips up first as you drag the right hip back. So your pelvis and hips just stay squared. Keep flexing your right foot. Lift the chest to lengthen your spine. Option to hinge from your hips as you fold a little bit deeper. Breath in. Breath out. Good. You're going to bend this right knee. Let's take half pigeon pose. Walk your right foot towards your left wrist. Drop your right knee towards your right wrist. Scoot your left knee back. Feel free to grab your block and place it underneath your right sit bone, but make sure your right knee is pointing out. Left leg is completely straight. Again, draw that right hip back even more, keeping your hips square. Feel free to stay lifted here. Otherwise, as you hinge from your hips, Fold all the way down, either to your forearms. Otherwise, reach your arms over your head and relax your forehead down. Few breaths here. So just trying to awaken the entire body from head to toe. Right now you should feel it into the outer right glute, your hips, left hip flexor, inner thigh area. Getting a nice release of the lower back here as well. Lots going on. Plant your palms. Okay. Then bend your left knee. So your left foot is towards your left heel, or hip rather. Option to just stay here as you get that nice quad stretch. Otherwise, grab your left foot with your left hand and guide your heel a little closer towards that left hip. Good, deepening through the quads here. Feel free to gaze back. Keep opening up through that left shoulder. Release your left foot. Either downward facing dog or chaturanga dandasana. So your choice to take your extra yogi push-up. No need to do it today. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, let's all meet in downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Good. Moving to the other side. Inhale, left leg high. You could gaze back and make sure your left toes are pointing down to keep your hips squared. Then as you exhale, open that left knee. Open that left hip and make big circles. As big as you can. There should be weight into that left hand here as well. Inhale, left leg high. Roll that left outer hip down. Exhale, low lunge. Shift forward, shoulders over wrist, push the floor away, and hop that left foot between the hands. Coming back to that low lunge on this side, left knee over left ankle. Then drop your right knee. Uncurl your right toes. Inhale, crescent moon. Interlace the opposite grip, hands on top of your left thigh. As you inhale, lift up through your side waist. Draw the belly in. And as you exhale, sink deeper into that front knee. Hug the left outer hip back, right hip forward. Squeeze the inner thighs in. Keep your left palm on top of left thigh. Inhale, stretch your right arm up and over. And exhale, baby back bend. Again, don't dump into the lower back. Keep lifting up through your belly. Inhale. And exhale, plant your palms. Good. Straighten out the left knee for half splits. Hands underneath the shoulders. 5 breaths here. Try not to get lazy into this pose. Keep the heart lifted. Pull your sternum forward. Feel free to drag your left heel back towards the right knee. Feel free to bend the left knee as much as you need. Coming back to the breath, staying present. Good. Rebend your left knee. Walk your left foot towards your right wrist. And let's take our half pigeon pose. Take a few breaths here to set it up. Okay, so try not to lean into that left hip. Stay on top of that right thigh. Do whatever you did on the other side to keep balance. And let's hold for 5 breaths. Feel free to close your eyes. Plant your palms. You might have to bend this left knee a lot more as you bend the right knee back and grab your right foot with your right hand. Again, taking that nice quad stretch. You're still staying on top of that right thigh. Keep the right shoulder and chest open. Good. And release. Either your chaturanga again. Don't have to do it today or ever. Otherwise, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Once you're there, let's drop down to the knees and then lower down onto our belly, sitting up for Cobra Pose. Hands underneath the shoulders, zip tie your legs together. Inhale, lift the chest. Lift the belly button up. Press the tops of your foot down. Exhale, lower. So keeping the core engaged in your back bends when you're on your belly is a little tricky. It's okay if your chest doesn't lift as high. You want to keep lengthening that tailbone towards the backs of your heels. That's the goal, so we support the lower back. Okay, so keep the core engaged. Doesn't matter how high you lift the chest. Still getting that thoracic extension. Exhale, lower. Good. Rise up to tabletop. And let's lower down onto our backs. Let's really slow down from here. Good. Once you're on your back, bring your feet as wide as the mat. Either cactus or tee out your arms. And just sway your knees side to side. Keep your knees over to the left. Feel free to stay here or hook your left foot on top of right thigh. Let the shoulders relax. Let the chest open. I invite you to close your eyes. Good. Release that left foot. Switch sides. This time, right ankle on top of left thigh. Slowing down the breath. Start to check in from how you felt before you started practicing. And then take notice how you feel now. So just noticing here. Good. Release that right foot. Either stay in your Shavasana. Otherwise, if you're ready to move on with the day, you could come up to a seated position. Take a few rounds of breath here. Kind of just soak it all in. Feel the energy rise back up. Feel the tensions release. And just feel the body awaken. Good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you guys next time. Namaste.